Hey everyone, this is Cerina, and welcome to episode 7 of EduLife. My first question is, what is your background in educational technology?
I really came to educational technology in a very roundabout way. I actually have a bachelor's in English, and then my master's is in library and information studies. Yeah, and I was working at a college and started teaching some computer courses, and then we needed to redesign those courses, so I got into instructional design and really got into the ed tech side of that instructional design and helping instructors design their courses and how to use technology well and as a good learning tool.
That is so cool. So what is educational technology? What does it mean to you? What is it?
Right. And it's kind of one of those things where different people will say different things, absolutely. But to me, educational technology is about finding ways that we can use technology to make education more accessible to the highest number of people. So to me, it's all about how technology can impact learning, how it can open up possibilities, and how it can help students to access things in different ways. And it's all about diversity for me. That's what ed tech is for me.
And how do you feel about implementing technology in the classroom? I know as pre-service teachers, it's a huge realm of blurred things, and it can be kind of overwhelming. So what do you feel about that?
Yeah, and it absolutely can be overwhelming because it's always changing, right? And one thing that we do in EDU 210, and that is really a part of my sort of philosophy of teachnology, if you will, since we make everyone talk about that, is that whenever you're doing anything in the classroom or as a teaching and learning activity, you need to think about what are your outcomes, what are your goals? Is there a way that technology can help your students reach those goals? And if there is, then use it. It's not a case of technology for technology's sake. We need to be aware that technology is out there and there'll be tools that maybe we never want to use, but we need to know that they're there. But really, to me, it's all about how are you going to help your students learn, and are there ways that you can communicate things using technology that you couldn't otherwise?
That is so cool, and I say I love your course right now. It's fun to take. It's cool. You learn lots of things.
Cerina's one of my online stars. It's true.
And is there any specific tool that we could use in the classroom in terms of like the smart board? I don't know, something that you think is super cool that we should use as teachers?
I don't know if I could say one thing. Because it really varies depending on the age of your students and all that stuff. But anything that gets students collaborating, to me, I really love, right? So in our class, for example, I love that we have the chat pod where, people can just be chatting ideas and you can interact in a way that you can't actually in a face-to-face class,
True.
right? But anything that gets students collaborating, so like shared documents, those kinds of things, I think whether it's a smart board, whether it's they're communicating with each other and they're in two different spots, anything that gets students communicating and building that learning community, that's what I love.
That's so cool. Yeah, that definitely I agree with that. Collaboration is a huge thing about engagement and all that.
Exactly.
That stuff,
making
right?
Fun and making it relevant and building that community. Yeah.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And last question of the day.
Absolutely.
Is there any courses that education students can take to learn more about educational technology? You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So EDU 210 it's a required course, so everyone will be taking it. However, we really work on it every year to try to make it as relevant and as what's the word I'm trying to think of? Engaging, yeah, as relevant, as engaging, as up to date as we possibly can, and to make it to teach students how they can use technology well, not just use it. There are also other courses on campus. Like there's I don't know if you know about this one. There's like a robotics course that you can take. Wow. I can't remember the number of it right now, but that's a pretty cool one. So cool. Yeah. Definitely take it. Yeah, absolutely. It's quite popular. Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I'm going to give you a legitimate handshake.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hey everyone, it's Lindsay here, and I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I never knew about, so I wanted to investigate a little bit further, and that's scholarships and awards. For me personally, I believe I'm a strong student, but I don't always make honor roll and everything else, and you always hear of Jason Lang and Rutherford Scholarship, but I want to talk to you about more options, and options that I never knew about. One of the great resources I found was actually through the University of Alberta and the Registrar's Office, or registrar.ualberta.ca, and it offers a host of scholarships for education students no matter what program you're in. More specifically, the Registrar's Office provides not only scholarships in academic achievement, but leadership, travel, and faculty awards as well. So while navigating to get to more specifically the education, scholarships, and awards, we go to the registrarsoffice.ualberta.ca, navigate to scholarships and award, and go towards continuing undergraduate awards. Now it gives you a specific, like I had already mentioned, the academic, the leadership, summer research, travel awards, and faculty department selected awards. And on this page, once you select faculty department nominated awards, you can scroll down and click on education, expand education, and then you get the more specific fields. You can go into open general education, educational psychology, elementary education, and secondary education. We'll click on the first link, which is open/general education, and it gives you a list of all the awards and scholarships that you can apply for or be nominated from your faculty. And this is what you can check out to see what applies for you. Another amazing resource that I found and have used personally is Alberta Learning Information Service, or ALIS.alberta.ca, and it hosts many scholarships and how to apply for scholarships, which for some of us could be a big issue. Now for navigating Alberta Learning Information Service, it's nice, easy, and straightforward. All you need to do is go into the left-hand side, click Scholarships and Bursaries, and then it gives you further options of how to select. If you're looking into what scholarships and bursaries are out there, click on this link, and it'll give you a couple more options. You can do Alberta Scholarship Programs, as well as Scholarship Connections, Post-Secondary Institution Scholarships, and Academic Invest. One of the nice things is, if you click on the post-secondary institutions and click on the University of Alberta, it sends you right to the Registrar's Office. But if you're looking for other varieties that aren't on the University of Alberta website, you can go into what scholarships and bursaries are out there. And the one that I specifically like looking at is Scholarship Connections. If you select your category, you can select keywords, deadline, or search by category. It gives you a variety of things to pick from that might be applicable to you. So now that all the scholarships have loaded, you scroll down and you can actually get the deadline, the amount offered, program that's suggested that you should be in, and criteria for the scholarship. And as you can see, there's a wide variety and arrangement for all types of scholarships. So if you find one that's applicable to you, you can click it, and it'll send you to how to apply for the scholarship. As well, another amazing tool that this website offers is 5 steps to winning scholarships. And for those of us who haven't applied for scholarships, it can be pretty intimidating. So it gives you the options of what to do. Search, apply, write the essay, get the money, and maintain your scholarship potential. Just this site shows that there's a wide variety to help you achieve your goals and be successful in obtaining scholarships. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys, as it has been for me. And as they always say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So go apply today.
Have you subscribed yet? If not, definitely click this button.
Hey everyone, I'm here with Mike Romanuk, a prospective grad student. Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
So what made you want to come to the open house for graduate studies?
I'm a little while away from doing my grad studies, but I was just looking around, getting ideas.
Window shopping?
Pretty much, yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm here with Jill McClay, the Associate Dean of Grad Studies here in the Faculty of Ed. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
What are we doing here today, Jill?
This is our annual Graduate Studies Open House event. We have in the Faculty of Education 4 departments and 1 School of Library and Information Studies. All of them are represented at this event, and we open the door in a very public place and invite people to come to get information if they're thinking about starting their graduate programs. So this lets them do one-stop shopping. You know, they can talk to people from different departments and get a sense of what their programs might look like.
That's great. What are those different departments and the 1 school?
Okay, it's School of Library and Information Studies. First of all, they offer Masters of Library and Information Studies, both online and in face-to-face programs. The departments of Secondary Education, Elementary Education, educational policy studies, and educational psychology are the 4 departments. And all of the departments offer both master's degrees, course-based and thesis-based, and doctoral degrees. So it's a pretty, we offer about 32 programs. It's a pretty big faculty.
It's a lot of options for sure.
Yeah.
So for maybe people here, they're thinking of going into grad studies as students. Is there a possibility to do grad studies as an existing teacher?
Yes, in fact, in the departments of secondary education, elementary education, and policy studies in particular, we have practicing teachers who are working full-time or part-time in the school systems, and then they're doing their master's program part-time. So most of them will take 1 course a term, and we have a 30-credit master's program, so they can do their master's program in a couple of years, depending on whether they want to do spring and summer, how much they really want to load up their schedules. But it's certainly very doable, and most of our master's students are part-time students.
And is there different options for how to take those courses?
We offer an increasing variety of online courses as well as our face-to-face courses. Our face-to-face courses are taught in many different structures. We offer them 1 night a week during the term. We offer weekend courses. We offer blended delivery courses where you might meet face-to-face 2 or 3 times during the term, and then the rest of the course is online. And we offer completely online courses. And we also now have several online programs where you can do the entire program online. So we have students from all over the world in those programs.
That's really exciting.
It is. And it's a new way of teaching for many of our instructors. So there's a lot of enthusiasm about figuring out how to do a course really well online.
That's great. So if a student wasn't able to come here, where's somewhere where they could go for more information?
I'd recommend, first of all, getting onto the websites. So if you go to the Faculty of Education website, there'll be a link for each of the departments, and that will give you a sense of what the different areas of specializations are for each department and for the School of Library and Information Studies. And then once you're within that department, I'd say contact either the graduate program administrator or the graduate coordinator for the department to get your particular questions answered.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time, Jill.
Thanks very much, Dan.
Hey everyone, this is Cerina. I'm recording to you at the ECHA building on campus. Welcome to EduLife, and today we have the pleasure of introducing to you Dr. Nathan Kowalsky. He is a professor at the U of A, and he's going to be here to talk to us about science, technology, and society. So without further ado, Dr. Kowalsky, thank you so much for joining me. And my first question to you is, what is your background and how has it led you into studying STS?
I'm a philosopher by training, so I started at the University of Alberta doing philosophy, and I studied some philosophy of science while I was here, and also took a science and religion course. And then as I went through my graduate programs, I was interested in philosophy of technology and studied that at a graduate level, but primarily I do environmental philosophy. So again, thinking about environmental ethics and nature, and how science and technology interact with that. So that was just sort of a background, and then by the time I got to the U of A to work, they didn't have a philosophy of technology course, and I thought maybe that would be a good idea. But they're like, oh, we do have this STS course that we teach, and we're looking for people to teach it. And I thought, oh, well, I could do that, because I saw they want to talk about the social elements or dimensions of science and technology and the way they interact with the environment. So I was like, oh, I can do like at least 2 of those 3 things. So that's sort of how I ended up teaching this course.
Well, I've taken STS 200 myself from Dr. Kowalsky, and I want to say it is an awesome course. My second question is, what is STS? What does it stand for? What is it? Why should we learn it?
STS stands for Science, Technology, and Society, or sometimes it's Science, Technology, Studies, depending on how the discipline cares about delineating that. And what it is it's the social studies of science and technology. It's not actually doing science in the usual sense. We're not doing laboratory work. We're not inventing technologies, but rather we're thinking about what science is, and we're thinking about what technology is, and how that is affected by the society that we're in, and how it affects the society that we're in. So there's causal relationships between society and what we do in our culture and what science is like for us, and back and forth. So really what it is it's a multidisciplinary discipline between philosophy, history, and sociology in large format, although also other social sciences do engage with science and technology as a topic as well. And so I sell it as critical awareness of what science and technology is, and rather than just doing it and not really paying attention to what you're doing. So that's what I basically tell my kids.
And one more thing, as an education student, if you are a science major, you do need to take STS sometime in your undergrad studies to graduate. So why do you think that is? Why do you think we need to take STS?
Yeah, well, number one, because I believe the curriculum of Alberta makes you.
Yes.
But why? Of course, that's not a really good answer. Why would the curriculum want you to do that? Science is very powerful in our culture, and it is probably the way in which we think we should resolve our disputes the correct way. And so it has this potential then to kind of weigh in on a topic and sort of decide things for us. And because of that power, it's worth paying attention to, because power is often problematic, or at least we want to be careful about what we think about what's powerful. And it also counts as what we think is reasonable or what's rational, and it can constrain the range of correct answers. And so if science does that under the table without us realizing that it has this role in our culture, then it's important that we pay attention to that and be more aware of it. And then we can at least be critical sometimes about whether or not science is the only way of thinking properly, it's the only way to be rational. But at the same time, how do we understand the authority of science properly? Because it's not like I'm saying as an STS scholar that we shouldn't have to listen to what scientists are saying. In fact, I think we should. But at the same time, science can say more than what it's entitled to say by its own disciplinary limits. And so it has to be properly contextualized in order to understand it properly, and I think that's what we attempt to do in STS. On the other side of things, there's the technology side of things, and in our culture, technology is obviously a huge deal, and it's more and more so. We have an incredible rate of increase when it comes to technological complexity and innovation, and these technologies affect our lives. And we typically, in our culture, just assume that technological change is always a good thing, and we don't think critically about that much either. And it is important for us to do so, because it's quite possible that we might not want these technologies to have these kinds of effects that they will have if we don't pay attention to it and resist or change them. So in both cases, we're in a culture that is highly technicized and highly scientized, and we do need to be aware of that and to think about whether or not that's just the way things need to be, or whether or not we have some options or choices in that matter. So I think that's why education students, when they're teaching science and even technology, I suppose, to their students, they also want to imbue in their students an ability to think critically about these forces and powers that are in our culture, and to be able to be, because when you're aware of something, you're free in relationship to it, and if you're not aware of something, then you aren't free in relationship to it. It just runs over you. And so it's important to be free as people, and I think that's what this can allow students to do.
That sounds great. Definitely words of wisdom right there from Dr. Nathan Kowalsky. Last question, are you going to be teaching STS 200 next semester, and what other exciting courses are you teaching at the U of A that education students can definitely look into or take?
Yes, I teach STS 200 every semester, and I probably will for the near future or the distant future. So every Tuesday, Thursday, either in the winter or in the fall, I'll teach it from 9:30 to 11.
Right.
So yeah, next term, and I think there's some room. It's capped at around 120. So, but I've only, yeah, it is a big class, but I got about 10 or 20 spaces left, so that's fine. I also teach Introduction to Philosophy, and I'll teach this in the wintertime. And this coming semester, I also teach a brand new course, Philosophy of Hunting. which
Exciting.
yes, well, you know, it's exciting, but I don't think anyone is excited about it yet because it's only got one student in it. So I'm looking for a few more.
Definitely take it. Hunting.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing next semester, and I'm looking forward to that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It is a pleasure to have you.
Yep.
Thank you so much. So definitely check out STS 200 if you haven't.